could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose. But when you talk to me, give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm actually going to be doing something. I haven't done this style of video before. I did kind of a inventory sort of haul style video of our Christmas decor that we had gotten over the last several months that was like vintage type stuff. But this is the first time I'm actually going to show you one of my collections, and it's something that I have worked on since, well, it's been a really long time. I've actually been collecting this type of glass for like 34 years, which is kind of crazy because the first pieces of this item, of this particular thing, started with my grandfather. He and my aunt had gone to a yard sale. We were actually visiting for the summer, my sister, my parents, and I, and we lived in upstate New York at the time, and my grandparents had always lived in Illinois. And so it was one of our summer trips was to go see my grandparents, and then my cousin and her mom, my auntie, were also there visiting for the summer. So it was like kind of a time for all of us to be together, which was actually pretty cool. So when they came back and my grandfather presented these items to me, it began a lifelong collection journey that has kind of exploded in a huge, huge way. Wow, it's crazy. So yeah, so let me back up a little bit and welcome you to my channel. If you are new, if you've been here before, thanks for coming back and spending some time with me. Hopefully you like this style of video. I'm going to try and do a little bit more of this because we actually have a lot of things that we like to collect, and I just think it'd be kind of fun. And I'm trying to do more of the history side of it too, because I think that's kind of fascinating. It's one of the things that I really love about collecting different things. Although I will admit that when I began collecting this item, that had nothing to do with it. It was just, we always called them my grandpa dishes because he started the collection, and it just kind of exploded. And to this day, 34 odd years later, it's still my grandpa dishes. So yeah, I love them to pieces. And these are items that as I acquire them, they're never going anywhere. They are home forever until someone inherits them, because I'm not separating them. And yeah, so the value of them doesn't matter to me. And especially those first 8 pieces, there is no value that I could put on those. But a majority of my collection is Anchor Hawking. Fire King is of course a division of Anchor Hawking, and so a bulk of my collection is actually that. And yeah, so it's funny because when I started my collection, I began with, I don't even know, I'm like just kind of babbling because I love my collection so much and it means so much to me, and so to be able to share it all with you is pretty cool. And so I hope you like it. That's Jenny. She's been my Achilles heel all day. She keeps jumping, and I have so much glass, like it's all rather precariously placed upon several tables in my living room. And the funny thing is that a big portion of this actually came out of my china cabinet. Do they have Collectors Anonymous? Because I'm probably gonna have to start going. So let me just show you real quick the first pieces that started this entire thing. So they are the Anchor Hawking shell milk glass with the gold rim. But wait, so that's 2 of the 8. Here's the other 4. They're kind of like trying to fall over. So yeah, I love them. They're so, I love these. Even when I tried to run away from home, I packed these to go with me. You know, first world drama, basically. First world problems. But anyhow, So yeah, so they're in such beautiful condition. And yeah, so there's the little sandwich snack plates. And then this year, I actually have a ton of snack plates that have the cups with them also. But they're a completely different style, but they are still milk glass. So I'm gonna spin you around for a little bit and give you kind of a sweeping view of everything that's on the tables. And then I'll hold up the other pieces that didn't fit on the table because collector's gotta collect. And clearly I have. So, all right, give me 1 second and I will, I don't have my little thingy. There it is. What would I do without the remote? All right, let me spin you around and give you kind of a sweeping view of all my stuff. And please forgive the mess in the back. That is like my packing station stuff for everything, because we keep moving stuff in and out of our antique shop and our antique booth at the shop. And we're actually getting a bigger booth because it's actually been amazing. We've done really, really well and super blessed because we started this business in the middle of a pandemic, and we've been super blessed. That's all I can say. And yeah. And that being said, we're getting a bigger booth. So that's all boxes and stuff for moving stuff out of here into the bigger booth. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. So, I don't even know how many times I've said this. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, so now that you've seen all the goodies on the table, I'm just going to give you kind of a bit of a history to go with the whole milk glass. And I actually have like a ton of notes that I have so that I can explain all this to y'all, because I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's really fascinating just how long milk glass has been around. For me, it started when I was 12, like I said, and I had no idea. And it literally just began with those 8 pieces, the 4 cups and those 4 sandwich or snack, dessert, whatever they are, plates. And every time my parents would go to a yard sale or an estate sale, they'd pick me up whenever they found some. They'd pick them up for me. And then the same thing happened when I was married to my first husband. If he found a piece or I found a piece, we'd pick it up. And my collection slowly grew. But initially, all I collected was the gold edge or the gold rim milk glass. Most of it is in the shell pattern. Let me see. So it has like these little ridges, which is kind of like the swirl, but this is actually the shell is what they call it. And so even when you look them up in books or online and stuff, it's just called the shell pattern. I don't know. I do have the creamer and sugar. And this, of course, has the lid. I've had these, some of these I've had for so long, I couldn't even honestly tell you when I got them, where I got them, who got them for me. I do know one of the pieces I have, actually my ex-husband got for me our last Christmas together. Is it tacky that I kept it? I love it. Anyway. And then, most recently, my husband Roger, who I started this whole business thing with, He collects, and it's funny because he collects also, but he collects totally different things than I do. But they work really well together, and we've had some crossovers and things that have like tied in, which is pretty awesome. I'm actually going to do a couple of videos on some of his stuff because his collections are actually pretty interesting, and they're kind of mannish. So for anyone that like wants to collect and wants to collect mannish things, so yeah. So recently Roger got these for me, and I think we got them at Goodwill. I want to say Goodwill, probably Goodwill. And these are Fire King. And so it was a set of, and the way they bundled them, it was like 2 packs, like 2 saucers and 2 cups. But I do have the cups and the saucers. What makes these a little bit different than the ones I had previously, and I didn't even realize they were different because they just, I don't know. After a while, it all starts to kind of look the same. Let's see if I can move these without making a huge mess and breaking stuff. Oh, sure. Glass life. Okay. If you look at the rim on this one, and this one's called Suburbia. That's what it says on the bottom of it. It's Anchor Hawking. Now, Anchor Hawking started in 1905, and it began on the Hawking River, and I want to say Ohio. I think that's right. I think it's Ohio. Anyway, it began with, I guess, 6 friends got together, and they started a business. And they actually bought this old building, I guess, that had, at one point in time, it was like a coal building or something, like it burned coal. And so anyway, so they called it the, let's see, oh yeah, it was on the Hawking River in Lancaster, Ohio, so I had that part right. And they bought the Lancaster Carbon Company. I don't know if that is exactly, but the facility was actually called the Black Cat because of all the carbon dust, which makes sense. Carbon Company. What if they make like the carbon sheets, like little copies and stuff? But yeah, so I digress. So anyway, so Anchor Hawking was the parent company, and then later on, they started making like other things, like they kind of became like the ovenware, and they started making like actual like dish type things, not dish type, like casserole dishes and that sort of thing, and that came a little bit later. But anyway, so Anchor Hawking, and then this one, it says Fire King on it, but notice it's kind of sponged. I wonder if you can see that. Let's see where my little camera is. Can you see that it's kind of sponged more? Whereas this one has more of a cleaner edge to it. Oh, don't focus on me, focus on that. Okay. And then the shell pattern on them is a little bit different. And size-wise, the Fire King is just a tiny smidge smaller than these ones. But I don't care. I think they're gorgeous. And they're in their forever home, so there's that. Okay. So I have a bazillion saucers, and I have a bazillion cups, because that's how we do. And then, of course, those came with the cups. You see, they have like the sponge design to them. I just think they're so pretty. They're like kind of soft, kind of speckly. But yeah, so I like those. Really pretty. So those are my most recent, as far as like gold edge. They're not by far my most recent milk glass purchases. They're gonna start like Milk Glass Anonymous, and it's gonna be because of me. Okay, so to go along with that kind of a sponge look, I've actually had these dessert plates for probably, oh gosh, I don't know, 20 years maybe? No, maybe not that long. 15 years? 18 years? I don't know, like forever. But I have 6 of them, and they also have that soft edge to them, which I think is really pretty. So I have those, and those are the dessert salad plates, I guess. I do have 3 of the big plates. I'll grab those. And they look like this, but again, they have that different edge to them. But, I mean, if you were going to do like a service or anything like that, I mean, well, look how pretty that is. It's so pretty. Oh, and the other thing is because I'm kind of slow on the uptake, the edge here is kind of floated. Is that what they call it? Floated? Ripply? Ridgy? Ruffly? scalloped, something. Right there. And this one's more smooth. But look how pretty they are together. They're so pretty. So, love that. Okay. Another one of my big pieces. Did you see the glass behind me? I've got stuff everywhere on my couch and like at my feet because I've got so much stuff. Let me see if I can scooch it back just a tiny smidge. Right back. Okay. Okay. So one of my bigger pieces that's on the table that you probably saw in the sweeping, whatever that's called, glass life, is this. Okay, oh, so as I was saying, so, I don't know, I'm kind of terrible at this whole, like, thing, aren't I? So, anchor hawking again. Now, anchor hawking, let's see. One of the things that made anchor hawking stand out was because, like, and one of the reasons why they were able to survive the Depression is they actually had machinery that would, that raised production from 1 item per minute to 30 items per minute. And then when the stock market crashed, they responded and they developed actually a 15 mold machine that could produce 90 pieces of blown glass per minute. That's a lot, especially back then, to have, you know, created the machines and the molds and everything to do that. And so they actually were able to sell like their tumblers. I'm pretty sure this is an anchor hawking tumbler. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. And I have 4 of these. They didn't fit on the table. But they're not marked, so, but they're kind of a straight-sided thing. And they're not like the highest quality glass ever. But that being said, obviously still love them. Anyway, they can make like 90 of these, say, in a minute. That's a lot. And so because of that, they were actually able to sell their tumblers 2 for a nickel. That's like a really good deal. Like, I mean, a nickel was probably like $5. Like, what, $5 now? Maybe? No. Is that really? Or 50 cents? Or I don't know. But it's a lot. And that's a lot of glass to get out. And that's a really good deal. So, yeah. So, the other thing that they were able to do because they could produce their glass so inexpensively and so fast was a lot of their pieces were given away at like gas stations, like get an oil change or buy, you know, a tank full of gas and you could get a piece. A lot of the grocery stores, that sort of thing. There were some soap companies that if you bought their laundry soap, they would give you a piece of glassware. So which I think is actually kind of interesting as far as marketing. I would love that. Go to the gas station and get a piece of milk glass. Hello. I'd find reasons to buy gas. But anyhow, so, okay. But yeah, so going back to this. Now, Anchor Hawking makes milk glass in several colors, and this looks like it has a gold edge to it. In reality, it's peach luster. I don't know if you can tell. So it's not gold, because, where'd my piece go? I put a piece away. Because like if you look here, you see that? I can't tell. So if you see that, that's the gold. But if you look at this, it's peach luster. But from a distance, it looks like it's gold edged, which I think is really cool. So, oops. That was the, it's a turkey platter, which I really like. And that was the last Christmas gift my ex-husband gave me. But that's okay, because all of this will end up going to my kids anyway, and yeah, so whatever. They did have a couple of different patterns. They didn't have like a ton of different patterns, but they did have a few. This one isn't in the best of shape, but I love it. I don't know, bless it. It's got like little dots, and it's got the pretty little edge to it. And then it's got little dots. And I just think it's really sweet. And it's actually, it's a pretty deep little, I mean, you know, little dish for like snacks. And in hors d'oeuvres. And honestly, some of this might be because of me, because like I said, I've been collecting for a billion years, and I actually use my milk glass. And so there's been many a holiday where I've used my milk glass for different things, and did not always get washed by hand, which is terrible. Okay. Oh. So because so much of my collection is Anchor Hawking and Fire King and all that kind of stuff, I probably know more about that company than I do anything else. But I'm learning the other ones too. But I don't have as much. Like I have some Indiana glass pieces, and then I have a few and because I've expanded beyond the gold edging milk glass, that's why I don't really know about that much about the other ones, because it's only been like the last year that I've actually really kind of expanded to collecting all milk glass. So I'm like a milk glass graveyard. And so they started in 1905, but they became the Glass Corporation on December 31st, 1937. Seems kind of a strange thing to do, but whatever, like the very end of the year. Oh, and they also entered the container business in 1931 with the purchase. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little monopolistic what they did, because they kept buying up like huge portions, or not, if not buying up entire glass companies and adding them into their portfolio as part of their subsidiaries and stuff. And so they did that with the General Glass Company, which in turn acquired Turner Glass Company of Winchester, Indiana in 1934. And then they developed the first one-way beer bottle. I don't even know what that is. I didn't know that there was more than one way to have a beer bottle, but okay. So yeah, and when they changed their name, they actually became the Anchor Cap and Closure Corporation. And it had plants in like Long Island, New York, Toronto, Canada, glass container plants in Salem, New Jersey, Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Is that a place? Anyway, they continued to expand, and yeah, and they even had a division in Houston, Texas, and they had research and development centers there. Let's see, they dropped the word glass from their company name in 1959 because the company had evolved into an international company with an infinite product list. That's kind of interesting. And let's see. So, and then they were bought out by the Newell Company, the Newell Corporation in 1987. So they had bought up all these different companies and then kind of started to slide back a little bit. Now, Fire King were first produced by the Anchor Hawking Corporation in 1942. So I think that's kind of fascinating also. But so to go back to like even beyond Anchor Hawking, because I found this out after I started doing more research, because I always kind of known a little bit more about the Anchor Hawking part of it, but I didn't know how far back milk glass went. And it goes back really, really far. In fact, the first milk glass, they didn't call it milk glass though, they called it like opal glass or something. And it was made in the 16th century in Venice, and it was actually to be as a competitor for porcelain, because porcelain is very, very expensive. And yeah, so they called it like moonstone, actually I guess is what they called it. And then opal glass came out in like the 19th century, so like the 1800s. And anyway, so it was in the 19th century, so the 1800s is when they started calling it opal glass. And then milk glass is actually a term that that started being used in the 20th century, so the 1900s. Let's see, there are actually a lot of different companies that make milk glass, which I also thought was really interesting. And I only kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I only kind of found out because I started looking up my glass pieces. Because like I said, the value of the pieces never mattered to me. Like I got them very inexpensively. They don't cost a lot to get. And I'm hoping you guys can still hear me because my thingy is like moved around my body. Hang on. And so I hope you can hear me. Have you been able to hear me the whole time? I hope so. Anyway, So because the value never mattered to me, but now that, you know, we have our antique business, and I'm starting to see that there's a lot more value in a lot of the things that we collect and the things that we love. And also I need to get things insured. So that's also the point of this video. But where was I? Oh, so milk glass had kind of gone out of favor, and then it came back again in the 1800s. It was real popular again. And then it kind of fizzled out a little bit like things do. And then it came back in the 1900s and was really popular again. The nice thing about milk glass is it's really, really durable, actually. And that's what, and so like Anchor Hawking, when they were making their milk glass, I mean, you know, a lot of it was like cups and mugs and china and stuff like that. And I say china, not like china, like fine china, but like, you know what I mean, like dishes for cafeterias, military bases, restaurants, as well as home use. So I have several coffee cups, and they're just normal coffee cups. And then I have like some oil and vinegar cruets. I don't know. Whatever you put like oil and vinegar and you pour it. What else? Oh, my other acquisition from last year that my husband got for me. Ow! Sorry, Lupin is here. This is Lupin. He's our only boy. And he's a turd. Can you say hi? No? There's gonna be a turd? Okay, we'll go play. Cat. If I can lift it. Is this. This is the sandwich pattern. So I was starting to tell you about Anchor Hawking and their patterns, and then I forgot. So here's this. And it's the sandwich pattern. And you can tell it's sandwich pattern because it also has what looks to me like a sunflower on the bottom. And I love sunflowers. They're my favorite flower. That and poinsettias. And then I have all my little teacups. Aren't they beautiful? And this is actually more of an ivory or a custard color, which I love. It's really pretty. See the little tiny flower on the bottom? They're so cute. I love them. And my cups all fold together nice and neat inside my bowl. Isn't that cool? So that was on my wish list. Like, you know how you like those unicorn lists? This was on mine because I wanted a punch bowl really, really badly. And he found it for me on Marketplace, and then we went and picked it up. It's awesome. And the story that went with that is it belonged to the man that we bought it from, him and his wife. It came from his aunt, I guess, and nobody wanted it. And I was like, oh, why not? It's gorgeous. So now it's mine. Okay, so I was telling you about the other patterns, and I showed you the dotted one. Okay. There's a lot of different serving pieces. Some of them are kind of like, I'm not sure what you would serve in this, but I think maybe asparagus, maybe green beans. It's very cute. It's a leaf. I love it. It's got a little thing. I have 4 of these. I don't know why I have 4 of them. Sorry, Lupin here. But isn't that pretty? Like, just like the little beaded edge to them. Yeah, I have 4 of these. I have 3 of these. During the holiday, especially like Easter and stuff, and like you decorate eggs with your kids and everything, I do a lot of deviled eggs. Used to do a lot of deviled eggs. And these are always crazy handy. Same pattern, but another divided dish. And I have 3 of these also, which is interesting. And then I have, sorry, my forehead, 4 of these. And these are just like little pedestal serving dishes. I would think you'd have to, I mean, you couldn't really use like a metal utensil these without like risking breaking them and stuff. I always put like random, like, I put like dinner rolls and things that you could just like pick up easily in these, because I just think this texture is weird. But it's this pattern, see with like the grapes and the leaves, that makes me think this is also Anchor Hawking. But I mean, it could just be wishful thinking on my part. But I don't know if you can tell or not. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very, very translucent. And so I don't know if you can see it that well, but I don't know, the camera never picks it up quite the way I see it, but it's like very, very translucent and it's very, very pretty. It's like when you hold it up and stuff, it is kind of opalescent, I guess. Okay, so that's that. To go along with my other shell pattern items, I have a ton of berry bowls. And then I don't know if this would be considered the master berry bowl or if it would just be the bowl I always put my mashed potatoes in. You decide. And then berry bowls. But I think they're so pretty. And I've always loved the gold edge to them. I'm not a huge gold person per se, like regular gold, but I do love these. Okay. So that's all of the gold edged items. In the last year, I have since branched out to loving all milk glass. Hi, and thank you guys so much for sticking with the video. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to split them up into 2 parts. So definitely watch out for that. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys so much for your support and for being here and for you know, going over this kind of a crazy history of milk glass, kind of a brief history on milk glass, probably a little bit more on anchor hawking, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time and being here, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thanks so much, and take care.